lot has changed here in Australia in terms of the renewal program and the way that screening happens. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Sure, I can, but I would go back to the 50 years since we were established here, that on the back of the conventional pap smear, Australia now has a very low incidence of mortality, but Victoria is approaching what will be possibly elimination targets. So based on our old program, we're at 4.8 per 100,000 with a mortality of about 1 per 100,000, which is absolutely world leading. And what that tells you is that with the right systems and processes, you can achieve very good control of cervical cancer. But that takes a lot of resource and it's not achievable in the rest of the world. So since the 1st of December last year, we've gone to another program where we're testing with HPV instead of doing conventional cytology, and we do expect further gains and further drops in our incidence and mortality using a more sensitive test that's asking less of women coming in every 5 years rather than every 2, and less of their doctors and less of the healthcare system overall. So in all the years I've sat on health technology assessments, I've never seen an outcome where we get better health outcomes requiring less resources. So it's very, very exciting. And I think Victoria will reach elimination within my working lifetime, and Australia will reach elimination shortly thereafter. Very exciting. We will have to think about how frequently we screen or whether we screen at all, but possibly once or twice in a lifetime. The vaccine's not optimally effective if it's delivered after exposure to HPV, so we can't vaccinate the whole community and stop screening, and this is the management of these cohorts as they progress through our programs. So I think the key message is optimal cervical cancer control requires every young girl who's age eligible to be vaccinated against the human papillomavirus, and every woman aged 30 to 49 globally to have at least one HPV test. And once that is in place, the next thing to think about is making sure that those women in whom HPV is detected are adequately followed up and treated, because we won't prevent cancer just by screening. Screening is a pathway that has to be followed through. And that's what we've been very good about doing in Australia, and particularly here in Victoria. So I think there are opportunities for partnerships between countries like Australia and countries that are trying to establish screening for the first time. And bilateral learning, I suppose. We have a lot of technical expertise, countries know what works in their setting, and in partnership I think we can reach this elimination target. I think that in order to really ensure that women progress along the pathway, you need a certain amount of infrastructure, and that's supported by software and health information processes. And then you start having the bare bones of population health management that could be extended to other things such as vaccination, such as testing for NCDs, so being able to record, for example, a whole range of tests that reflect progress with diabetes, with HIV, and with other public health problems. Cervical cancer is a very exciting opportunity, and what it's done is it's actually brought together the microbiology community with the gynae community and the oncology community. So it's brought together groups that haven't traditionally worked together, and I think the collaboration that comes from that can only lead to other opportunities for disease control, and particularly the non-communicable diseases that are producing such a burden globally, and not just in high-income countries, more so in low and middle-income countries as well. So I think the collaboration is the key here. I think it's really important for governments and health ministers in particular to think about value rather than price. And what I mean by that is that a single HPV test will probably give you the same protection as 3 PAPs or 3 visual inspection with acetic acid processes. And so although that test is currently more expensive than PAPs and VIA, the value that you get from it and the protection for 10 years probably, well, the modelling is showing very clearly that it's cost effective in almost all settings.
So what do you hope for in the future when it comes to elimination?
Oh. So I hope that in my lifetime we will see every young girl vaccinated against HPV, and every woman around the world, 30 to 49, having the opportunity to have an HPV test. I hope we'll see elimination of cervix cancer in my lifetime, and my daughters don't know what that disease is.